Okay, in this short video we are going to look at the four main types of transformation: translation, reflection, rotation and enlargement. Alright, to start with we'll take the translation. We looked at this briefly recently, but we'll just look at it in a bit more detail. I'm going to take this shape here, which is going to be a translation of shape A, okay? And I'm going to place it up here, okay? So it's facing the same way as it was before, but it's moved to a different position. We'll call it shape B. Okay, I'll just label that in a moment once I've got it in the right place. That's about right now. Okay, so I'm going to label it B, and we're going to describe what's happened to get from shape A to shape B. Okay, so it is a translation because it's been moved from one place to another without changing its orientation or angle or anything else. Okay, so I'm going to write it over here. I'm going to say that A to B, okay, I'll write it here, A to B, okay, and I'm going to say that it's a translation, and then I'm going to give a vital piece of information, which is the translation vector. So if I take any point on A, what have I done? I've moved it one square to the left and 1, 2, 3, 4 squares up. So it's a translation described with a column vector like this: -1, 4. Okay, the -1 means 1 to the left and the 4 means 4 up. Okay, that's an example of a translation. Now I'm going to start with shape A and I'm going to apply a reflection. Okay, again we looked at this recently, but this is the reflected shape, and I'm going to actually put it in this position here. Okay, now that is a reflection of the shape A, and I'm going to call this C. Okay, so let's put a C in there. Now it has actually been reflected not in the y-axis but in another line that's parallel to the y-axis, and it's this line that I'm about to draw here. I'll mark it in yellow. So if I draw this line down here, okay, that line has an equation x equals -1, x equals -1, okay, and that line, that yellow line, is exactly halfway between these two. I think you can see that. So this is the line x equals -1, so I can say that, and I'll write it, maybe if I write it here, so this is a reflection, okay, I'll put the word there first, and this is A to C, so I'll write that in front. So A, and I'll get the colour, A to C, okay, is a reflection in the line, okay, with equation x equals -1. Okay, that's my description of the reflection that's been applied. Now let's look at a rotation. Okay, and this is one that some people really find difficult to understand. I'll take this shape first. I've already prepared this by doing the rotation, if you like, and I know where I'm going to put this shape. Okay, it is going to sit there. Okay, now it's going to get a bit confusing, of course, because we've got lots of potential overlap here, but we'll do our best to keep it uncluttered. Let's move it slightly, it's just come off its marker. Okay, that's about right. Now that shape there in that position, which I'm going to call D, is a rotation of A, okay, and I'll just write down the description of what it is. So I'll do that over here. So A to D, okay, A to D, okay, it's a rotation, oops, okay, and then for that rotation I have to provide some important information, and here it is. It doesn't particularly matter which order it's in, but I need the angle, it's 90 degrees, okay, the direction, anti-clockwise, okay, anti-clockwise, right, and the center of rotation, okay, is the point about which it's rotated, and this is rotated about the center 0, 0, which is the most common type of rotation, the easiest one to understand. So basically it's like imagine A was drawn on a piece of tracing paper. You can actually try this, and the tracing paper extended over this point 0, 0. If I put a pin through the tracing paper at 0, 0 and spun the whole thing round 90 degrees, the shape A would be sitting on top of D, okay, in that position. All right, and another way of visualizing this is if I took a faint line. Let me just take, let me use a different color. I'll use a red line, okay. If I did this line here, okay, there, and then I into that corner, and then I did a similar line to that corner, okay, so it's the same corner but on D, okay. Not only are those two lines the same length, but they're also 90 degrees apart. And that helps to illustrate why that's a 90-degree anti-clockwise rotation with that as the center point, 0, 0. All right. Finally, we will do an enlargement. In fact, I may do two of these. Let me just take the enlarged shape. Okay, I'll start with this one. Now, I'm putting this, I'm going to put that somewhere in a moment, but before I do it, I'm going to make some important construction lines. Now, just look at this carefully and see if you can work out what I'm doing with these faint lines. Okay, I'm going from 0, 0, and I'm going outwards through like that, through the corner of A, one of the corners of A, right? Now I'm taking one through this corner of A, so in fact I'm going to go over my line I've just done and extending that, okay? And then I'm going to do one from the origin, or from 0, 0 through this point, okay, like this. Now I sometimes call those lines, normally we draw them really faintly, I call them ray lines, R-A-Y, ray lines, okay? But I use that as a guide for positioning the enlarged shape. Now, because I've already drawn it, it's going to fit in nicely, I hope. There, yes, it is. Perfect. All right? Pretty well perfect. Now, that shape, which I'm going to call E, is the same shape as the original was, okay? But it's twice as high, twice as long, right? So instead of going along up 2, it's going up 4. Instead of going along 4, it's going along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. And this point is, you know, you can see how far away this point is. Well, this one is twice as far away from the origin as that one. This point here is twice as far away from the origin as this one. So that, look at that. That one is 6, 1. This one here is 12, 2. You see? So what we describe is that A to E, okay, I'll just finish off with this. A to E is an enlargement, okay? But look at the information I have to provide. Enlargement, okay? Scale factor 2, scale factor 2. In other words, that's how many times bigger the new shape is. And also I need to include this enlargement, scale factor 2, center. That's the center of the enlargement. Okay. And the center of enlargement is the point 0, 0. Okay, in this example. In other words, it's like the vanishing point where all these ray lines started from. Okay, that's it. So that's a simple example of an enlargement, a rotation, and we also looked at another reflection and translation since yesterday. 10 minutes 40 seconds of video, about to stop.